Good morning, everyone. Happy Tuesday. I'm coming to you from yesterday, actually, and I'm in my yard where it's just stopped raining, and so it's a nice opportunity to come outside. I wanted to talk to you a little bit about the uh, signs of spring science journals that I'm asking you to update and be documenting signs of spring. And I know that it's not always really easy to find signs of spring. They're not always jumping out at you in early spring. We're approaching mid-spring though, and so they're starting to get a little bit more visible, and they might not be everywhere. You you might not see all those signs where you expect to see them. But I just walked out to the middle part of my upper yard here, where I like to do a lot of my morning videos because it's kind of a nice peaceful place. And I'm just kind of looking around, and immediately I'm seeing some things like these. I don't know if you can see where, there we go. These holes in the ground. There's a hole right there, and it kind of looks a little bit like an ant hole, but what it actually is a solitary bee hole. On this part of the lawn, my yard, the upper part of my yard, if this were a warm sunny day, there would be hundreds of solitary bees flying around, coming out of their holes in the morning. And the reason they're called solitary bees is that they don't live in hives. They're the mother bees bury the larvae in the ground, and they overwinter, and in the springtime they hatch, and there's all these solitary bees all around, and they're the bees that pollinate the crocuses, the first flowers that come out of the ground, and the daffodils. The early spring flowers are pollinated by solitary bees. So that's one thing. You might see anthills or evidence of other insects that were not out before the snow melted, right? So that's evidence of spring. That can be a slide in your presentation. Another thing that I'm just noticing, if you look around here, there's some green grass coming up over here. Very soon it's going to be time to mow my lawn, and I don't have my lawnmower ready. It still has a snowplow attached to it, so I'm going to have to get on that. Yeah, so you might be thinking, oh, big whoop, grass, that's so exciting. It doesn't have to be exciting on your slide. It doesn't have to be like really thrilling in some rare species that you have growing in your yard, because most of us don't, right? But this is grass right here growing. This is a monocot. Plants can be categorized as dicots and monocots. We'll learn more about that later. But it's a sign of spring. It's something that's green, that's growing right now in the yard, that wasn't growing 2 weeks ago when we had that little snowstorm. That green grass was not visible. Maybe it had just started, but you couldn't see it from far away. Now my lawn almost needs to be mowed. Like, it's a little too soft and wet to actually have the lawnmower out here, but that's how much of a difference it's made. If I point down in this direction, you can see all the green. That's the 2 acres of lawn that I have to mow about once a week once summer starts. So there's 2 signs of spring. That could be 2 slides on your science journal. And just walking over here, this is the little tree that I suspended my phone on to take yesterday morning's video. I put I put the phone in this little tree, and I sat on that rock, and or leaned against it anyway. And notice right next to it are daffodils. Yes, these will be open tomorrow probably. Daffodils are one of those early spring flowers. I didn't plant these here. They were planted by the people who lived here before we moved here, and this Thanksgiving will be 10 years that I've lived in this house. So those have been there for a long time, and they come up every year. They're perennials, and that's another sign of spring. So 3 slides that took me, I don't know how long the video's gone, 4 minutes to show you. The other thing I want to mention is the comparative anatomy project. It's a really fun assignment. I was going to make it optional, but I decided to require everybody to do it because I think it's pretty essential content. It bridges the last unit to this unit. So what I'd like you to do for that is to think of a species, any animal. Okay, it has to be an animal that has body systems, right? And choose a body system and compare it to that of a human being. And it's kind of a fun thing to do. So we're going to be classifying living things. And so immediately you'll be able to look at animal classification. And I'm going to ask you to classify that species as well for this assignment. We'll make it due at the, I'll tell you what that means soon. And we'll make that assignment due on Friday, and we'll have you turn it in the form of Google Slides. And if you really prefer Prezis, you can turn it in as a Prezi too. That's okay. I'm sorry I didn't clarify that when I first posted it yesterday, but I edited it so it's now on that assignment from yesterday that it should be turned in as a Prezi, and I'll make that due on Friday. Okay, that's all for now for science. If you have any questions, let me know, and I'll see you at Hangouts a little bit later on. Bye-bye.